Hello class, for today I'm going to go over the study guide with you through this video, and there are going to be a couple of questions that's going to be pretty much the same format as what you see on the study guide. So if you study this and the things we've been talking about in the past with the table and with the four figures, exterior angles and whatnot, this is all I'm testing you on next week. So as long as you guys can do the questions here all by yourself pretty well, then I don't think you're going to have any problems with this. But anyways, without further ado, in this video, I'm going to go over every single questions to make sure that you guys are going to be okay with how to do these and, just get prepared. So for today, the assignment would be to just take a look at the study guide and then just study over it. There's no homework over the weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. So let's get started with the number of sides of being 10. Now with these types of questions, I believe that you guys can all do this on your own. The sum of the interior angles, as you already know, should be 180 times n minus 2. Do not forget the n minus 2 portion. Measurement of one interior angle would be whatever you had in the previous column and divide by the number of sides. So the formula for that would be 180 times n minus 2 divided by n. But you don't really have to write this down. It's just for an FYI. Sum of the exterior angles, this should be a freebie for everybody. Everyone should know that it's going to be 360 throughout this entire thing. So I could just keep on writing 360 for all of these and there's going to be no problem. Measurement of one exterior angle. Now measurement of one exterior angle also is very simple. You just take 360 and you just simply have to divide by the number of sides, which is n. Okay, so for the first one, sum of the interior angles 180 times n minus 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the 10 as the number of sides and I'm going to get 180 times 10 minus 2, which is 8. So 180 times 8 gives me 1440 degrees. Now, I strongly encourage you guys to print this out and just follow along with me, or if you could just write it on a piece of paper. Remember, this is your notes that you can have. I want you guys to have this as a practice and make sure you have it with you. Measurement of one interior angle. So one interior angle here would be this 1440 divided by 10, which should give me 144 degrees as my total. And the last one is 360 divided by 10, which gives me 36 degrees. Okay, so when I give you a number of sides, it's going to be very simple, and I want you guys to probably try doing 27 on your own. But before I get to that, I want to finish up to here, and the rest of the portions, it will be up to you to do on your own. But I'm going to also provide you with the answers on this video. Alright, so 900. I'm giving the sum of the interior angles as 900 degrees, and now what do I do in that case? Remember the formula was 180 times n minus 2 is equal to 900. So the very first thing you need to do is divide both sides by 180 like this. So when you do 900 divided by 180, you get 5. So n minus 2 is 5. When you add the 2 on both sides of this equation, you should get 7 for your number of sides. This is how you would solve for the number of sides in this case. Then once you have this, it's a piece of cake because it's exactly like the first question when you have all the number of sides. The next one will be just 900 divided by 7. This will be 360 divided by 7. So you will get decimal values for this. So 128.57 degrees is okay. 360 divided by 7, that's also okay. 51.43, about that much. Okay. All right, so the next question here, we have 150 degrees as the measurement of one interior angle. Now this is where it gets tricky because this is a result of 180 times n minus 2 divided by n is 150. Okay. Now there are a couple ways in which you can do this. I find it a lot easier for us to do it this way, where you remember that these two, the measurement of one interior and one exterior, is going to add up to give you 180 in total. So 150 plus, let's say, x gives you 180. What do you think x is going to equal to? Well, subtract 150 from both sides of this equation, and you should get 30 degrees. So x is simply just 30 degrees for this one. So that is going to be the measurement of one exterior angle. Now using that, you can do this a lot easier by just simply taking this number and dividing by this number. If you take the sum of the exterior angles divided by this, it actually gives you the value of n, which is on this side. So 360 divided by 30. Again, take the sum, divide by the measurement of one exterior angle. That should get you to be 12. I do recommend you to use this method because it's a lot easier to do it this way. All right, so I have 12 now. Then I can do 180 times n minus 2 once again. 180 times 12 minus 2, which is 10. It gives me 1800 degrees in total. Okay, so this is a way for you to figure it out. Always remember that the measurement of one interior and one exterior comes out to be 180 degrees in total. This is a really cool trick that you guys can utilize. All right, the last question here, if this is given to us as 90, then how do you solve for the value of n? Well, again, you can take these two and divide by each other. So n is just simply 360 divided by 90, which means it has four-sided figure. 180 times n minus 2, 180 times 4 minus 2, 360. Then you take that and divide by the number of sides, which is 360 divided by 4, because that's the number of sides right now, which is 90 degrees. These are a lot of numbers to deal with. I know, I understand it's a bit tough, but as you practice this along, which I hope you guys are doing for the last 5 questions, I want you guys to be able to see what the answers are going to be when you guys are solving it, using the method I've been just teaching you. Okay, so for these guys, I'm just going to put it aside for now. And then I'm going to work on these guys for the purpose of the video. Well, actually, I'm going to go back here. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to pause the video right now. And I would like you to write down the answers for these guys. This is a way for you to practice. And you can take a look at the video one at a time because I'm going to go over each and every single one of these guys with you. Okay, so pause the video and try to work on these 5 problems and then check your answers once you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 1620. Remember the formula was 180 times n minus 2. I set that equal to 1620. Now, the very first step you must do is divide both sides by 180. So n minus 2 becomes 9. And then you just have to add 2 to it, which makes it 11. So this is an 11-sided figure. I'm going to fill this up with 360. The answer to the third column will be 1620 divided by 11. Again, sum divided by the number of sides. Sum of exterior angles divided by the number of sides. These two will simply do the trick. So 1620 divided by 11, 147.27 degrees. 360 divided by 11, I'll get 32.7 degrees. These will be the answer to those questions. All right, next one, 27-sided figure. That's easy. 180 times n minus 2. 180 times 27 minus 2. So that's 25 times 180, which will give me 4,500 degrees as my total sum. 360 degrees once again. And then I'm going to take 4,500 divided by 27. 360 divided by 27. So what I'm going to get, this one is 166.7 degrees. And this is going to be 13.33 degrees. 2160, you're solving it exactly the same way as the very first question we did. We're going to first divide this by 180. 2160 divided by 180. And that gives me 12. And then you're going to add 2 to it, which gives me 14. Now I'm going to take 2160 divided by 14. This is 360. So it's 360 divided by 14 for this one as well. My final answer, 154.28 degrees. 25.714 degrees. Alright, so for these two guys, I hope that you find that the answers are going to be the same because remember what I told you before, that these two angles will come out to be what we call supplementary angles. In other words, they add to give you 180. So if this was 40, that's 140 because 140 plus 40 gives me 180 degrees in total. 140 plus 40 degrees also gives me 180 degrees in total. Okay? So now, the next thing you do is you really focus on the exterior angles themselves, which is these two guys right here. So if I take the 360 divided by 40, what do I get? That's a 9. So it's a 9-sided figure for the last two. And then what you have to do is just simply plug into the formula. 180 times n minus 2, 180 times 9 minus 2, which should get you 1260 degrees in total. All right, so the last couple of questions that we see here. Now these guys, you just have to remember that exterior angles adds to give you 360. And interior angle always adds to give you 180 times n minus 2. Determining whether you're doing interior versus exterior, that's also an issue. So for the very first question that you see, do we have an interior or exterior? The answer is interior, because you see all the angles are inside this pentagon shape. If it's outside the polygon, then it's exterior. So this is the perfect example of an exterior angle. So now once you're able to identify those two things first, then what you can do is you can go about your business of solving this. The very first thing we need to do is find the sum of the interior angles, which says the sum of the interior angles is 180 times n minus 2. This is a 5-sided figure, so n is equal to 5. So if I plug that in here, it's 180 times 5 minus 2, which is 180 times 3, which is 540 degrees. Then I always ask you to set up your equation. When you add all of these angles up, and don't forget that this is 90 degrees. 90 plus 100 plus 120 plus 115 plus x gives you 540. In other words, you add them all up, and then you subtract it away from 540. So 90 plus 100 plus 120 plus 115, that's 425 plus x is 540. Subtract 425 on both sides of this equation, and you get x is equal to 115 degrees. For the second question is exterior, so then exterior angles means that you don't have to do this crazy formula. You just have to simply say, hey, the total sum is just simply 360. That 360 is a result of adding these three angles combined. So that will be 124 plus 130 plus x. So when you add those guys up, so 360 is equal to 254 plus x. Subtract 254 on both sides of this equation. Subtract 254 on both sides of this equation, and you get x is equal to 106 degrees. For the last two, what I would like you to do is pause the video now and then try this question on your own. Once you're ready, just play the video back again. Okay, so for the very first question, I believe that all of the answers should have been 88 degrees. That's because when you add all of these angles up here, x plus 79 plus 103 plus 90, it has to equal 360 because we're talking about exterior angles. So when you add these three angles up, you should get 272. Subtract 272 away, and then you get x is equal to simply 88 degrees. The last question is interior angles, but it has 6-sided figures, so you have to do 180 times n minus 2. But it's 180 times 6 minus 2, 180 times 4, which gives you 720. When you add all of these guys up here, so that's 123 plus 107 plus 111 plus 120 plus 117, you get 578 as your total. But don't forget to add your x to it. That becomes 720. Subtract 578 on both sides of this equation, and your answer should get 142 degrees. Okay, so hope this is enough practice problem / study guide for you guys to do, and I'll see you guys on Monday.